Hello everyone and welcome. So many months now into the current COVID-19 crisis, and we still have a lot of conversation about testing. There are a lot of opinions about testing, very strong opinions. Some say we are testing too much, and some other people say we are not testing enough. According to the CDC's website, there are 33 million tests have been done in the United States until now. That's a big number. I think the key question to ask is, are we getting the right information out of all this testing to be able to make smart policy decisions? Of course, we need to know at an individual level if a certain individual is infected or not, because doctors want to manage the disease at the individual level. But as general public, we are also interested about our safety, availability of healthcare. We keep hearing about health capacity. So these are all policy decisions that are influenced by our understanding of what is happening in the population. And that's a population level question or a community level question, regional level question. Are we getting that information? And I think that's where the problem is. We need to understand clearly what our strategy is and how far are we before we can answer the question, have we tested enough? Okay. So in this video, I want to clarify the idea of testing. Not tests. We have talked about tests in previous videos that FDA has authorized in the past. In this video, we're going to talk about testing. And I learned a little bit more about this by attending an FDA town hall where this topic was discussed and a very important clarification was provided. So I want to share that with you. It's important to keep in mind the kind of questions we want to answer at an individual level and at a population level to be able to understand different types of testing strategies. And there are three. You have screening, you have diagnostic, or you have surveillance testing. And we're going to talk about those three in this video. So let's get into that. I want to start with diagnostic testing. This is where someone is suspected of having an infection. They may be showing a symptom, or they might have come in contact with another person who is infected, confirmed infected person. But keep in mind, it's ordered by a physician as of now. You cannot do an over-the-counter test or at-home test whenever you want. You have to go to a physician because the physician is trying to understand and diagnose your current situation so a treatment can be provided to you. That's diagnostic testing. And this is what we have talked about so far. FDA has authorized more than 130 molecular diagnostic tests, over 20 antibody tests, and 1 antigen test. And I've made videos on those tests that you can find on my YouTube channel. The second is screening. This is where, let's say you're a business owner. You want to make sure that people who are coming in to your facility are not going to create another risk of exposure for everybody around them. And you don't know someone is infected or not. You don't have enough time. You want a quick decision. You don't have any history about those people. So you do a quick screening, for example, a temperature check. Now, it's a matter of policy that you will implement about what to do with that information, but that's a separate conversation. In this particular case, what we are trying to do is figuring out how we can make a quick decision by screening people indiscriminately. We don't know anything beforehand to make that decision. Still individual level testing. The third level is disease surveillance, and CDC does that at a national level. In other countries, there are other surveillance programs, and it's done at the global level as well. So in this case, we are sampling a region or a population or a community, and our intention is to find out the disease prevalence. How prevalent is the disease? How many people are potentially infected or were infected in the past? We want to understand how the virus is evolving. Can we predict emerging hotspots? Because we are trying to guide public policy decisions based on this information. So CDC has started doing this by partnering with commercial laboratories where the data is flowing in. And they started doing this surveillance in the first phase using 6 different states and locations as shown in this map. These teal colored regions and states is where they got started. They want to expand that in the next phase to include 4 more states. So there'll be 10 regions that they will monitor. They want to collect 1,800 samples from each of these 10 areas approximately every 3 to 4 weeks. So surveillance is not one and done. You have to monitor it over a period of time, what's happening. Here is some early data. You can find that on CDC's website, which shows the data in the March to May timeframe in these 6 areas: New York, Connecticut, Missouri, Utah, South Florida, and Washington State. And sure enough, there is a range of disease prevalence, estimated disease prevalence rates in these areas. So important thing is, what do we do with this information? And we should be aware that, hey, this is just an estimate. Okay, false positives are a concern, sampling bias is a concern, and CDC is pretty smart and experienced in that area to be able to handle those issues. So we should trust that information to a large extent. What it's telling us is how to guide public policy decisions using this surveillance information. So we talked about 3 things: 2 at the individual level, screening and diagnostic, and 1 at the surveillance level, which is population level or a community or a region. We want to figure out what's happening to individuals and also what's happening at the overall level. So let's take a step back. We know 33 million tests have been done. They've been done on individuals in different parts of the country, different regions, at different time frames. They were not done with a sampling strategy in mind. So it's debatable to what extent that information can be used for surveillance. CDC is selecting the antibody test data with a sampling strategy for surveillance at this point of time. But a test has to be performed when there is suspicion of infection to be able to manage that disease. We have no choice. That's why 33 million actually doesn't mean much. It may be even higher because we have to test more and more to find who's infected and treat them and manage them. It doesn't help us much from a surveillance point of view. We have to do a program, a strategy for surveillance, having a sampling strategy in place, regions, time frame, and figure out what is going on with that, using that data to guide public policy decisions. So I hope this clarifies things a little bit. Again, we are learning as we go. All I want to say that CDC has a lot of experience doing this for influenza, for example. They have a dashboard. You can go check on their website. A lot of good information. They do this for a living. So they're very good at it. And I hope as more information becomes available, we get more surveillance data to get better at this. Let me know what's on your mind. What are the questions you have still unanswered? And I would be happy to really look into that, think about that, and produce more videos. A lot of things are happening still at a very fast pace, difficult to keep up. So best way to keep track of this and figure out what's going on is to subscribe to my videos on YouTube channel, and I'll show you how to do that. Here's my YouTube channel. Thank you to all of you who have been subscribing so far. My rate of subscription has gone up quite significantly recently, so I look forward to engaging with all of you. But here it is. You can go find out and subscribe. You can also follow me on LinkedIn. Wherever I post on LinkedIn, you will have a link that will go along with that. So I want to thank you for your interest and attention, and I really hope you and your family are staying safe. Again, reach out anytime. Let me know what's on your mind.